Hey guys, gonna take you on the ride home here. So it's Sunday, July 5th. It's about 3:40 in the afternoon. Got some stuff to do at home. I'll give you an update on Suzy, how she's doing. Had the opportunity to do a few things as the nurse's assistant. So I'm down on the food chain of helpers, but I want to get hands-on as much as possible. Plus, I'm balancing it with getting a bunch of stuff done at home. So, doing what I can. Doesn't feel like enough, but it's what it is. So we'll have to deal with it. I think I'm gonna try to rely on a lot of YouTube tutorials. I really haven't looked at a lot other than transfers from wheelchair to car. I told you on the last video we hit a snag in getting the wheelchair. It says that it's coming on the 8th, and I've had bad experience when it slips like that. Sometimes it slips beyond the second date they gave you. I ordered some sandals, slip-on kind of sandals, and it took a month, and they kept giving me dates a delay, so I get a little nervous about that. So I think I can have some options. One option is to rent a wheelchair, and I'm already tightly scheduled. The other option I thought of is I think my Uncle Jerry has a wheelchair which my cousin Sally lent him. So that might be an option, although it's not optimal because the wheelchair is for a big person and the chair I ordered was for a small person. So I don't know how that will work for Suzy. Hopefully it will. But we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, I had the opportunity to empty her catheter bladder bag, whatever you call it, the thing where the urine collects. And there's a thing called I forget what it's called. It's used for men, for them to urinate into, and they can do it when they're laying in bed. It's a plastic jug with a handle on it. Oh, urinal. I'm looking for a more complicated name. It's called the urinal. Okay, so with Suzy, we empty the contents of this, I'm just going to call it a bladder, like a bladder bag of sorts, into this urinal thing. And I'm doing it right by the bedside, and it's putting paper towels down on the floor, so if you have excess urine, etc. And I already covered my concerns with the carpeted bedroom, and so did that, and then the nurse's assistant came in at another time and said, I want to check her for diaper. And we checked her diaper, and it showed that she needed to have it changed because she'd done number 2. Not a big one, but more than a smear. So that's another win today. So good deal. And then so I was involved in the diaper change and cleaning her up and all the things associated with that, and putting on a new diaper and replacing, there's a pad that goes under her body, and it's between her body and the bed sheet. They call them chucks. I don't know how it's spelled exactly, if it's like CHUCKS or CHUXS, something like that. One of those two, I think. Anyway, it's an absorbent, very thin absorbent pad, probably less than 1/8 of an inch. So we replaced the chucks and we put on a new diaper, and we adjusted her in the bed, pulling her up higher in the bed, so when the bed is on an angle, that it's really bending where her waist is and not her mid-back. So I'd say overall it was a pretty good outing. I wasn't able to stay there very long, but I tried to get as much in as possible, asking a million questions, which I apologize to these caregivers for, because I'm just like wanting to get it and do it right, whatever it is. So, let's see. Suzy was dressed. She looked pretty good energy. She ate most of her lunch. She had black bean enchilada. I asked her if she liked it. She does this. Later on, I had told her the other day that we need to talk about what food to buy, because I want to do this before she gets home. We're talking some different things. I said, you've had a lot of variety here, because when I make something, usually we'll eat the same thing for 2 or 3 or 4 dinners. And she kind of went like this when I asked her if she liked the hospital food. It looks good to me. I think I've tasted one thing. It was all right. So I don't know. I mean, I've talked with some things, and some things she wasn't wanting to have, and I'm not sure exactly why. These are things that she's had in the past, so it isn't like it's new food, but I'm wondering if it's texture and maybe a different quality of moisture, like not quite as moist as some of the stuff she's eating. I think, she's on a bite-sized but moist diet. Having moist things, it's easier for it to go down your throat and swallow, the whole swallowing mechanism, or whatever you want to call that. So, anyway, we've got a couple ideas. And so we'll just have to roll with it, I guess. So anyway, I'm hoping that the bed comes on Monday night. If not, I'm gonna let the case manager and the social worker know that we got a little hiccup, both potentially on the bed, but for sure on the wheelchair, and see if a larger wheelchair is a showstopper, meaning I have to rent one, or if I could use my uncle's and just see, because apparently he's not using it, but he might need it. He's kind of unsteady. So anyway, that's what we got rolling. I'm heading home right now. Gonna clean up a little bit, do some vacuuming, put some dishes away. At some point I'm pulling the sourdough pizza dough out. Takes about an hour for it to get to room temperature after it's been in the refrigerator, and I need to do what they call shaping, which means you cut it. Basically, I did a recipe that will make 6 12-inch pieces, so I need to divide the dough, cut it into 6-inch, relatively equal 6-inch pieces of dough, and then you shape it. Shape it is just rolling it on the surface of the counter with a little flour and pulling it a little bit, a steady motion of pulling, and that pulling creates tension. And then after you've shaped it, then you let it sit for 30-60 minutes, and then you start making pizzas. So my thinking is I'm making enough for 6 12-inch pizzas. I'm thinking about maybe making 2 tonight with Pietro, and then maybe freezing the other 4 and giving him 2 frozen pizzas so he can do his own thing if he wants to. And I'll have 2 in the freezer for future use. Usually I try to use the frozen pizza dough, within a month or 2. I don't like to keep it too long. So that's what's up. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's new in the last 24 hours that I haven't shared. I don't think so. So anyway, I call this a plus day for Suzy. Oh, I did a little physical therapy exercises with her that I videotaped of the physical therapist. And it was only like 2 or 3, so there's a whole number of them. So I did very little compared to what they do. I need to get into that. And I noticed that I feel my lower back as I'm leaning over, like manipulating or moving her right leg in various directions and ways gently. And this hospital bed, it does a lot of stuff, and it comes up pretty high. I think the bed I bought, it goes up, but I don't think it goes up as high as this. So I was kind of noticing that as it relates to my back. My back's fine, but I'm just noticing, okay, and I need to strengthen my abs and my back. So that's one more thing to add to the list. So anyway, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more info.